But I decided to this is something I've planned for a bit now is do a stream when it talking about the power rankings for this last Madden week because there has been a lot of surprises and a lot of not surprises and whatever happens with the power rankings because that's what we're here to go for today. It is quite the journey. I how I do things. I The more points you score for the week, the higher score you're going to wind up getting in the rankings. And also depending on how good the opponent was last year compared to you would also influence it. So, let's get this started. Number 32 on the ranking, the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, like it's easy to target either the Carolina Panthers or one of the other really awful teams last year. I'm sorry, but if you drop like by only 3 points in the entire game, you're gonna get yourself a whole slap in the face through the ranking system, and yeah, that's just kind of how it's gonna be. And if we want to talk about another team who ranked in the bottom 3 last year, number 31, New England Patriots. Yeah, they're this could be up to speed now, because the Patriots they only scored what 6 points. Yeah, 6 points against the L.A. Chargers, who were also quite bad last year, but this makes things all the worse that they just got killed just like that. Number 30, the New York Jets. New York Jets are coming off a game that was actually quite close, but not close enough to lose to Miami by 7. And just nothing worked out for this team. Like one touchdown, a couple of great catches by like Garrett Wilson and Malachi Corley is not enough. So that's what ranked them at the near the bottom. Number 29, the New Orleans Saints. This one was a shock to me, but because not only did they only just win. No, I'm kidding. They didn't win. Not only did they lose in a game with only 10 points scored, they also lost in a game where they scored 10 points against the New York Giants, a team that was a lot worse than them last year, and as it shows right now, it is not a great sign for things to come. Number 28, one that was a close call in terms of the ranking, but we'll get to the tiebreaker in a second. Number 28, Chicago Bears. Now, the Bears, they could have lost by a significantly bigger margin if it wasn't for Lamar Jackson turning over a couple of times. And because even then, they didn't take advantage of those opportunities at all and only scored 14 against the Ravens 28. And while we're on the same topic of 28-14 losses, number 27, Pittsburgh Steelers. This one was a lot more of a slow burner because like the Steelers actually were losing the whole game. Like the Bears had the luxury of choking a 14-0 lead. The Steelers, on the other hand, didn't even have a game to stand on up until the end where they can only score 14. But they were facing off against a much tougher opponent, so that's what got them the higher up on there. Well, not like comparatively, but like, you know what I'm saying. They kept it competitive at least. Because the Bears never scored again after their 14-0 start. Number 26, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Another team that got killed through like the first 3 quarters of the game against Tampa Bay. the only thing that stopped the Buccaneers from beating them even more is that the Jacksonville Jaguars actually contained the Buccaneers throughout the whole fourth quarter, but didn't do enough scoring to take the win and only scored 15 on the game. Number 24, no, okay. Number 25, the Philadelphia Eagles. This might be the shock of the whole list because, to be fair, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they lost to the San Francisco 49ers, right? Which is the team that almost won the Super Bowl last year, but as it stands, the Eagles had a not so competitive game throughout the whole thing, and really I could have expected a lot better from them. Number 24, the Minnesota Vikings. Now, the Vikings actually was keeping it pretty competitive throughout the whole game against the Cincinnati Bengals, who only beat them by 7 in a 24-17 loss. I can give them credit where credit is due, but at the same time, Sam Darnold did pretty good by all accounts, but honestly not too much to say that it was a star performance. Number 23, the Carolina Panthers, the worst team in the league last year, only just barely lost to the Arizona Cardinals in a loss 21-17, which was I can only imagine a rough ending, especially since that rough ending was Bryce Young not throwing to anybody, trying to take it for himself, and he got stopped at like the 5-yard line when the time ran out. Number 22, Houston Texans. And this has to be the most legendary ending of the whole entire league right now, alongside a few others. Because, yeah, the Texans were very close to winning this game. All it took was a Khalif Raymond catch, and the Lions beat them 23-20. That does not discredit the Texans at all, and they did eventually get a win on their belt when they beat the Green Bay Packers in Week 2. Number 21, Tennessee Titans. The Titans only ranked this high because of the higher scoring affair against a team that was actually better than them, only managing to squeeze by with 3 points difference in a 24-21 loss when it was Matt Gay who kicked the game-winning field goal. I'll give the Titans this. This is some potential going into this roster because in real life, they didn't win until Week 4 when they beat the Miami Dolphins with Tua being injured and not many good anything going in the Dolphins offense. Number 20, the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams had it very, very close, but suffered in a huge upset against the Washington Commanders, who won by 3 in overtime, 30-27. Which I think sucks for them, but you know what? That's just the game of football, Sometimes it's gonna have some heartbreakers. And you know what? I'll give the Rams credit that they did what they could. Number 19, the Denver Broncos. Now, this one could have been an upset for the ages, but of course the Chiefs always gets the assistance by the referees, and yeah, the Broncos lost because of a game-winning touchdown by the Chiefs, and what could have been a stop in the fourth down, it just didn't work out because the Chiefs were just held their hands by Levi Wallace, just making that penalty. Number 18, the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders actually had a pretty high scoring affair in this one, losing only by 3 against Atlanta, 35-32. And it was a sad way for the Raiders to go because they had a lot of potential going in, and then they fumbled it quite literally. Number 17, Green Bay Packers. This was the game of the year. Although Green Bay lost, they had a lot of points going against the Dallas Cowboys, losing by 6 in the highest scoring game of the series so far, 47-41. The only reason why they're not any higher is because I'm ranking these like first 0-1, then 1-0. So you'll see a few guys that'll be ranked weird in this, but that's just how the depth chart works. Because if you're higher ranking on the list, it just kind of has to be like that. All right. Now, the most losingest winner of the week. Number 16, the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers did upset they didn't upset anybody. They did do what they did, and expectedly they beat the New England Patriots. The only drawback is that they only won by 8 in a score that only combined 20 points across both teams, winning only 14-6. Now, number 15, the New York Giants. Another huge upset in the making. The New York Giants beat the Saints 17-10 in a very close game, and the only reason why they're ranked this low is because of the ranking and how the Saints, they just screwed up entirely, and it was only a very close, low scoring game. Now, number 14, the Cleveland Browns. Same boat as the Giants, only scoring 17 on this week's game. But the only reason why they're ahead of the Giants is because while the Giants allowed 10 points when they were against the Saints, the Browns only allowed 3, and it wound up being a not close game at all. Number 13, the Miami Dolphins. Another 17-point victory, this time against the New York Jets, who they mightily beat, and that's the way the news goes. It's just how it happens. Number 12, the San Francisco 49ers. Another case of if they had a higher score in this game, they would have been ranked higher. The 49ers won only by 3, or maybe it was 4. I don't remember. It was either 21-17 or 20-17. I'll have to look into that. It was 20-17. So yeah, that's why they didn't rank as high as they should have. Number 11, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The only reason why they're not ranked higher, again, is not even getting a single point after the third quarter. Because they started off with a 21-0 lead and then just did practically nothing for the rest of it, except for, recovering an onside kick that Jacksonville tried to do. But that's about it. Number 10, the Detroit Lions. This was a very narrow victory, and I am proud of what the Lions and Khalif Raymond was ever doing. And yeah, at the end of the day, that is a very, very good game for the Lions. Number 9, Indianapolis Colts. The Colts managed a victory in the final few seconds with a field goal again with Matt Gay under center, and yep, that's how the news goes. I think I said that already. And 21 points allowed, but 24 points they made. So, victory is victory at the end of the day. Now, the top 8, the last column. Number 8, Arizona Cardinals. I'm not biased on this one. It's, again, the points you make and and your opponent, it kind of matters in this whole thing. Although, jumping up this high is pretty crazy. The Cardinals beat Carolina in a close 21-17 victory, and it was quite the show, to be honest. The only reason why the Cardinals are ranked a little higher than the Colts is because of the difference between them and their opponent, because the number 4 team beating the number 1 team in terms of the worst, versus the Colts, who we're almost in playoff contention versus the 7 worst team is difference enough. Number 7, Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals had a tight window, but they managed to beat the Vikings 24-17. Although now we're expecting the Bengals to drop significantly since their embarrassing loss against the New York Jets in week 2. Number 6, the Buffalo Bills. The Bills got their asses in gear, and they gave the asses to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I am phrasing this weird, but you know what I'm saying. The Steelers had their asses handed to them, is what I'm saying, against the Buffalo Bills in a 28-14 victory. Number 25. No, I'm kidding. Number 5, the Washington Commanders. Wow. The number 2 worst team beating the number 19 worst team in the league. And in a very stunning, high-scoring affair, does you wonders in the rankings. And that's exactly what Washington did as they won 30-27. Number 4, the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens had a very slow start to start the game, losing 14-0 against the Chicago Bears, but they were able to manage themselves a very great thing happening. And yeah, 28-14. Again, they could have been ranked a lot higher if they, didn't fumble twice. They fumbled once and they threw an interception once. Number 3, the Kansas City Chiefs. What could have been a huge upset against the Chiefs, the pass interference call saved the Chiefs game, and they won 30-28 against the Denver Broncos. Now, this was a disappointment, to be sure, by the Chiefs, but they still managed to win by the tips of their fingertips. And yeah, there we go. Number 2, Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Falcons had a very, very high scoring game against the Las Vegas Raiders, scoring 35, the third most in the league this week, only just behind the Dallas Cowboys and Green Bay Packers, respectively, and managed to win against the Las Vegas Raiders in a 35-32 game. And honestly, that was a pretty good game. I was really happy with it. And begrudgingly, as a Giants fan, I hate to say this, number 1, Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys, holy crap. 47 points in a victory. That is, this is week freaking 1. I don't know if a team scored that much in week 1, and yeah. It's insane. So, yeah, that's your rankings. And I hope to see you guys whenever the next one comes around. All right? Bye.